Hello everyone, watch this review here with a look at the Young Justice Aqualad, and if you're wondering why my packaging looks different, it's because one of the swords fell to the bottom of the thing. It's just where they've molded plastic and stuff that tends to happen. Now, the figure is billed as including a sculpted diorama and 7 weapons, but I honestly only count 6, including the short sword here, the part that connects to the prop, and then you have the sledgehammer, axe, sword which fell, and mace. I don't know, maybe I'm miscounting somehow, but 4 here, 2 in hands, that's only 6 to me. Back of the box, there's a little bit of a read-up. Now, honestly, this wasn't a character I probably would have picked up, but, looking at the accessories and everything, they actually look pretty awesome, and the fact that his character does look a bit more distinctive and all that compared to some of the other stuff in the line. He, of course, is a character that doesn't really have any counterpart in the DC Universe Classics line at this point, so, why not? Plus the fact that he was only $10 on sale certainly doesn't hurt. The box itself, pretty decent. I like the inclusion of the art on both sides. The one thing I don't like is the fact these things are supposed to retail for like $20, which is a bit of a shaky price, but given that they have like the large base and everything, I guess that kind of justifies the value, but at the same time, it's just not the same as getting like a collecting connect or something. But hold on a second and I'll get them out pack. Now, the piece in the back of the packaging is a cardboard insert which you can pull out and actually use as a prop if you wish. Although, again, given that it's just a piece of cardboard, that kind of limits the whole display potential. I guess it's kind of neat. As for the accessories that the character comes with, I actually remember hearing about this before, but this little piece here is actually one of the weapons, as is the other one that pops into his back. Or backpack, actually. The only thing these things do, as far as I'm aware, is they connect into the water spigot here, so, it functions kind of as the weapon. Because the character is an Atlantean, and, he can bend water and use it as a weapon. Of course, water bending, like, is an avatar, but, probably predates that and all that stuff. Otherwise, his other accessories include this mallet or hammer thing, a mace, a little ball chain here, a sword, an axe, and then, technically speaking, the part of the stand itself, which has a wire in it, much like the same accessories that they used for the parallax limbs, which now is kind of lame, especially because you can see the wire going through it. As for the display base itself, no real paint, it's kind of a garish gray. It just looks so plasticky. I mean, if they'd just gone a little bit extra, because it's got the detailing and stuff. The detailing is fine, but if they just gave it a little paint wash with a little shadowing, maybe something to really give the effect of brick, it would have passed a lot better. And you can actually turn the little, nozzle or whatever there, and rotate this thing. I don't know, I guess it's kind of cool, but as far as the accessories or stand pieces go, I'm just not that impressed. I much rather would have had the collect and connect pieces, as, previously mentioned. As for the figure itself, Aqualad, and I believe the rest of the Young Justice characters in line, all use the new teen scale for the DC Universe Classics. Let's just bring in the Wave 16 Robin for an example. You can see that they're roughly the same height. which is just a bit shorter than an adult character. This goes against the previous trend where they had the more kitty-sized characters, which only came up to, like, I think it was around here. I mean, obviously, the new scale does work quite a bit nicer. And it means that your Young Justice characters do work in your DC Universe Classics line. And indeed, these are basically intended as a spin-off. Unfortunately, it does have the sort of older articulation where we don't get the double joints. You don't get the ball and sockets at the wrists and stuff like that. So that's kind of lame. But just looking at Aqualad here, he's just a pretty decent looking figure. You've got a really cool looking sculpt. Good use of color. The only really major drawback, and you probably will notice this right away, is that the head is, well, the skin on the face and everything is just like a shade or two different from the neck and body here, which is kind of lame. Mine also has a mild defect here, which I might just paint in later, but it's like a little fleck of blue that's on his shoulder. The other ones in store had some marks on its face, but these are all things you kind of have to look out for when you're buying these in retail. Now, while some of the characters in the line do have a more cartoony look to them to represent the style from the, well, obviously the Young Justice cartoon, I personally feel that Aqualad's look does also suit the DC Universe Classics more realistic look. And the face and everything doesn't have as much of a cartoony appearance as some of the others have had. Especially where the Robin in this line really looks different in terms of head sculpt, and even in the Artemis just looks a little bit off. Now, detail-wise, you'll notice that he has these really wicked tattoos running up and down the arms, ending in a snake here at the wrist. Only drawback there is the fact that when you move his bicep and everything, the tats no longer line up, so it looks a little funky. And granted, depending on the angle, it's not as noticeable, but it's still just a minor irritation. Now, whereas he comes with several weapons, let's just pop one of them in there. The weapons he holds kind of loosely. By the way, they're sort of a soft, rubbery plastic. It's just kind of disappointing that they couldn't have engineered a slightly better fit for this. Yep. I don't know, but otherwise, it's a pretty solid looking figure. I do like the belt and everything here. The paint, serviceable and all that. Even though, it's clearly a painted on shirt. Quick run through of articulation, just very standard stuff. Point of rotation at wrist, single joint elbow, rotation bicep, ball jointed shoulder, head rotates, also some up and down motion, ab crunch, point of rotation at waist. It's kind of weird where it actually goes underneath the belt as opposed to above it. It's more standard. And leg kicks forward and out, point of rotation at thigh, single joint knee, and single joint here at the ankle. The other thing you do have to watch out for is just the way that they have them packaged in the box. Occasionally the leg will bend a little bit. I really wish they'd just get rid of these dynamic poses that they try to put them in, and just package them more solid, because the joints always seem to warp over time. And of course, this little sword thing here just pops into the backpack where he, I guess, stores water or whatever for his special attacks. I don't know, definitely a very neat figure. Probably one of the cooler ones from the Young Justice line. The other two don't look as impressive, although, they're still kind of essential. I mean, granted, you have a bunch of Robins to pick from, but in Artemis's case, we haven't had a Artemis quite like that. The previously released Artemis was actually a different character, so, you know, totally zoning out here, but yeah, if you do find him cheap, I would probably recommend picking him up. Otherwise, the figures so far, all three of them, I think he's clearly the best, and, probably would kind of be worth it at full price just because he does have a pretty generous assortment of accessories, and, these are all real accessories. All originally created items. They aren't repacks or reuses of anything previous, which, is a pretty neat touch, even if, his energy constructs, or, sorry, water constructs have the word China written on the side. Really? Do we really need that? I've honestly never even been sure why they bother labeling things China, whether it's just saying, oh, it's not made in America, this is bad for some reason, but whatever. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty solid figure. Till next time, folks. Oh, wait. I do have a haul portion for the normal viewers. And so, the haul for today, Saturday, December 3rd, whatever, included Foz from the Green Lantern movie line, the smaller one. Picked him up mostly for the projectile, but figured he was kind of a cool-looking lump of plastic. I mean, if you look at the back here, it's got all sorts of detail, but on the front, you can't really even tell he's supposed to be an animal, but all the same, it's just such a wacky design. But he was only $4 thanks to that half-off sale. Also picked up Robin from the Young Justice line. Originally a figure I wasn't planning on buying at all, but, at this price, it's kind of tempting. The stand, of course, is really, really neat. Honestly, I mean, the only thing I really find fault with this figure is just like the head. It doesn't really have much of a neck or anything. And then, of course, finally, Aqualad, who, wasn't a character that I was really excited for, but once I saw him and everything, I mean, it's just got a lot of awesome looking accessories and everything, and, pretty neat, different design. Only sort of kind of issue is the fact that the head color is a little bit different than the body, but that's a running design flaw or whatever, so not too much of an issue. And that's everything from the Target sale, and I'm actually a little sad now because, that's it for the Target sale. It's gone. No more half off on DC stuff, which was such an amazing deal. Don't think I'll see anything like that ever again either.